Hello fellow book lovers, and welcome back to my channel. I hope your day is going splendidly. Today in this video we're going to be doing something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is to create a TBR spreadsheet. I have a very large TBR, like an exceedingly long one. Besides this top shelf, everything on my bookshelf is TBR, and then there's a lot more books that I have. But the thing is that during college and before that, I was too busy with school and stuff to focus on my hobby of reading, even though I've always loved reading. And so I kept buying books, hoping I would get a chance to read them, and I didn't. So now I have like a really large collection of books, and since being on Bookstagram in 2024 when I started, I've bought a lot of books. So basically what I'm saying is I have more books than I've read, and so my TBR is just really, really long. And for that, I wanted to create some way of organizing them, and yeah, so that's what we're doing. So first things first, I needed to decide what my spreadsheet's gonna look like, what info I want to collect, etc., etc. So I'm setting up that spreadsheet. I'm using Google Docs for this because I love that I can access it on my phone, and anywhere else I want to be, I can always access it on the internet. So yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm adding a table into here. I like their built-in ones because there's a lot of options that I don't have to like go in and format it. So I'm creating a built-in table, and then I'm just deciding which column titles I want it to be. So I'm collecting the basic information like the book title and the author. And then after that, it's all basically preference of what you want to see there. And so I started figuring out what I wanted to know about the books I have on my TBR. The other categories I added into there include the publisher, the date it was released, the date I bought it, whether it's in a series, the format, genre, page count, the priority I have for this book, and the status of this book, all of those little things which you will see here on my spreadsheet. The last three ones don't really count for the TBR portion of this. This is more so when I finish them, and then I filter it out, but I can still see it. And that includes the reviews that I've done. I link those there, and then my rating, and yeah, and a notes tab just in case any of these are borrowed or things for me to make note of when I have to return them. And then I adjusted each of these columns into the right format, such as some of them are drop down boxes to make it easier to select the genre, and some of them are text boxes just for me to fill out whenever, like the book titles and stuff, and some of them are dates because that's the date released, date bought, those ones. And yeah, so I adjusted them with the table to be easy to fill out. And I will go into why I chose each of these categories as we move along and start putting in those books. So you will see why I chose those and what my process was in creating this. So now that I have my table all set up, it's time for the very time-consuming part of it, which is to add every single one of my books onto there and collecting all that data I wanted onto there. So it's very time consuming. I think it took us like a few months, but we only did it like a few hours a week, so it's not like constant. But my boyfriend was helping me with it. You're not going to see him in any of the footage because he's not here right now, but he helped me a lot, and so thank you to him for helping me create all this and collecting all the data. Yeah. This part's going to be pretty self-explanatory, and that is just creating an entry for each book and filling it out between looking at it physically, seeing who the publisher was of my copy, looking at all those information. I also ended up looking at Goodreads for some of them because there are data you just can't find on there, like the date released. Sometimes it just gives you the year. So I went between my physical copies of the books and Goodreads to see all the information and fill that out. So while I zoom through these, let's talk a little bit about why I wanted this information that I'm collecting. So some of this information I feel is pretty basic information if you're creating a TBR spreadsheet, such as the book title, the author, page count, genre, etc. And those I like having in there because I can filter it out. If I don't want to read a romance right now, I can just take that out and look at the rest of my books on my TBR. Or if I do want specifically like a dystopian book, I can go and filter my TBR by dystopian and then see exactly what is on my TBR that's only dystopian. Same with page count. If I'm like, I really want a short read right now, I just finished a really big book, I can filter it out by page count and see what I want to read there. Now, some of the other information might not seem super necessary, so that's why I want to explain like why I'm putting that in there and why it's important to me to have that there. So let's start with publishers. Aside from the basic information of just knowing whether you like certain publishers or not, the collection of this data is specifically for me about requesting ARCs. I personally haven't reached out to anyone for ARCs outside of NetGalley, and I don't think I will anytime soon. But I do know that when you do, I've seen a lot of people posting like the templates of what you would email them. I have seen that you're supposed to like show them other reviews that you've done in the past from their publishing company. So you would link them to them saying like, this is some other works I loved from your company, and etc, etc, etc. I'm not an expert in requesting ARCs, but I do think that it'll be nice for me when I do want to start requesting ARCs that I can just search up like Tor Publishing Group, and then I can see all the books that I've already read from them. Of course, this goes along with the reviews section, that it's just like, it's not part of the TBR importance specifically, but it's for after. When I want to filter it by what I've read, I can look through all those. I can go, okay, I want to request this Tor book, so I will go and look at what I've read from Tor, and I will already have the reviews linked there, so I can copy it into the email. Basically, ease of access. It's not super easy to set it all up, but it will make it easier in the long run instead of having to search through my pages to find my reviews. The whether it's in a series also feels like pretty basic knowledge to me. It's just letting me know whether this is a standalone or if it's in a series, whether I have the rest of those books in the series, what order it's in, etc, etc, just because there are a lot of series on my shelf, so I want to know that. The next two, which is the date of release and the date bought, are both very similar purposes in this spreadsheet, and that is that with the dates bought, I will know how long ago I bought this book, whether it's been sitting on my shelf for 10 years or for 2 months, and that way if I see one that's like 10 years old on my shelf on my TBR, I might be like, well, am I ever gonna read this? Should I read it now, or should I just give it away to someone and offload this book? And then obviously if I bought it recently, maybe I'm more excited for it. I just want to know those information. And then the date release has kind of a similar thing into the fact that I can prioritize maybe newer ones, just because I don't want to see spoilers on Bookstagram. I can see, oh, this released this month. I don't want anyone posting about it and then me not getting to have my own opinion of it, so I will read that sooner. Or again, if it's released way long ago, I can know whether like this is still of interest to me or if it's more something I should offload. For the format, I just like to know whether it's going to be on my Kindle, if it's a physical book, if it's a borrowed book, etc, etc. And that just helps me keep track of it in terms of where it is physically, because sometimes I have so many books I'll forget what I own. The priority column is just based off of how urgently or how much I want to read this book. And my categories for that one include urgent, high want, low want, and may never read. Urgent I typically use for ARCs or books I borrowed from the library or from a friend that I want to return. Basically just things that have a higher priority, I put in there. And then everything after that's just how I feel. Sometimes I don't really feel like I might ever read it. Sometimes I do really, really want to read it. So I put that there so that way I can organize the spreadsheet if I wanted to by my priority, and I'll know where they go in my basically hopefuls for this month. The status column is there because I did not want to delete the books after I've read them from my TBR. So I put it in there where it'll show if it's unread, if it's finished, like read. There's also options for if I DNF'd the book or if it's a reread that I want to do. I have that section, and that's so that I can filter it out, like get out the read ones. So that way it remains a TBR and not just like my library as a whole. And I think I've explained everything else on this. So now I just have to finish inputting all of these books on here. And now I have all of my books on a spreadsheet so that I can filter it out and find what my next read will be. I am working on some other tabs of the spreadsheet right now, which include an ARC tracker, hopefuls, and my wish list for books. So if you like this video and you like seeing my process of the spreadsheet, let me know in the comments if you would like to see how I make those spreadsheets, and I can make another video like that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more bookish content. Until next time, happy reading. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let me know and I will I'm gonna just start again. If it's in the date of